Hey there, welcome everyone. Today we're going to tackle a huge topic, one that honestly affects pretty much all of us: cholesterol. We're going to get into how our bodies actually manage it, the role of medications like statins, and most importantly, how the choices we make every single day can put us on the road to better heart health. So let's dive right in. So let's just start with $1 million question. Is cholesterol the good guy or the bad guy? We hear about it all the time, usually in a negative way. But the real answer, well, it's a little bit more complicated. It's actually a bit of both. So, what even is cholesterol? Well, it's this waxy, fat like stuff that, yeah, it gets a really bad rap, but it's not the villain it's made out to be. In fact, our bodies literally cannot function without it. It's an absolutely essential building block for all our cell membranes. It's a starting point for crucial hormones and vitamin D. It even helps us digest up our food. Bottom line, we need it to live. And this really shows you the two phases of cholesterol, right? On one hand, it's fundamental for our survival, but on the other hand, when we get too much of it floating around in our bloodstream, that's when it can cause some serious problems like raising our risk for heart attacks and strokes. So it all comes down to one key word: balance. Now, here's something that might surprise you. A lot of people think that cholesterol in our blood is coming directly from the cholesterol in our food. But actually, that's not the whole story. The truth is, our own liver is the main cholesterol factory in our body, pumping out around 70% of what we need. The food we eat definitely plays a part, but it's much smaller piece of the puzzle than you might think. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of our body's metabolism. You can think of it like a massive, busy crossroads where your body has to make critical decisions every single second. And right in the middle of that crossroads is this one little molecule called acetyl coenzyme A. Think of it as a central currency of your metabolism. Pretty much everything you eat, carbs, fats, proteins, all gets broken down and converted into this one super important molecule. So from this central hub, acetyl CoA can head down one of the four main roads. First, it can be used right away for energy. Second, if there's extra energy, especially after a sugary meal, your body says, okay, let's store this as fat. Third, it can be turned into cholesterol for all those vital jobs we just talked about. And fourth, if you're fasting, it can become ketones, which are an amazing fuel source for your brain. Now, here's the most important part: the path it takes isn't random, it's directed by our lifestyle. All right, so let's follow that third path for a minute. Let's take a little tour and see what's happening inside the body's main cholesterol factory. And as you know by now, that factory is your liver. It's here that this really complex multi step assembly line is constantly building cholesterol molecules out of that acetyl CoA. This factory is running 24/7, always adjusting how much it's making based on the signals it gets from the rest of your body. Now, inside this factory, there's a master control switch. It's an enzyme called HMG CoA reductase. This enzyme is basically the main throttle on the entire cholesterol assembly line. When it's on, production ramps up. When it's blocked, production slows down. This is the single most important control switch in the whole process. And guess what? Understanding that one little control switch is the absolute key to understanding how one of the widely used cholesterol medications actually works: statins. Statins have a very specific job. They go right to that HMG CoA reductase enzyme, that master switch, and they block it. They basically put a big brake on the cholesterol assembly line, telling the liver's factory to just slow everything down. And when your body is making less cholesterol on its own, it has to pull more of that bad LDL cholesterol out of your bloodstream to get what it needs. Statins also have other effects, like they reduce inflammation in your blood vessels. They improve the health of that delicate inner lining of your arteries, and they help stabilize any plaque that's already there, making it less likely to break off and cause a heart attack. But of course, with any effective medicine, you've got to look at the whole picture, and that includes potential side effects. Like muscle pain, another potential side effect is a small, usually manageable increase in blood sugar levels. While the risk goes up a bit for people who already have things like prediabetes, some extra belly fat, maybe aren't very active, or are dealing with poor sleep or a lot of stress. And you probably see the pattern here, right? These are all factors that are deeply connected to our daily habits and metabolism. Which brings us to what might just be the most empowering part of this entire conversation: the incredible, undeniable power of our lifestyle. And here's the fantastic news: we have an amazing counterbalance. The very same things that can help offset any of those potential side effects of statins, regular exercise, eating a diet full of fiber, getting good sleep, managing stress, those are exact same things that help our metabolism work at its best in the first place. They help push that acetyl coenzyme A down the path of making energy instead of being stored as excess fat or cholesterol. So, what's the big takeaway from all this? It's that you're not just a passive bystander when it comes to your own health. You have so much more control than you might realize, and this quote just says it all perfectly. Medications can be an amazing and life saving tool, but they work best when they're part of a team effort, a team that includes your daily habits. So I'll leave you with this one question to think about, knowing that it's the small daily choices that steer your health in the long run. What is one small positive choice you can make for yourself today? Thanks for tuning